I'm Yogi Roth, joined by Rece Davis. I'm in the backdrop of Rece Stadium. Got Utah coming into Oregon State tomorrow on the Pac-12 networks at 4:30 p.m. Rece Davis is hosting game day at 4:30 a.m. is when the gates open up on Wilson Plaza. Of course, the show at 6 a.m. Rece, thanks for the dialogue, man.
Man, I'm glad to be with you, Yogi. I always enjoy talking to you. So we're excited to be here. You said open to 4:30. I had a kid outside a minute ago tell me he was going to be here at 1 a.m. So I like the enthusiasm we're seeing here in Westwood so far.
I think that's code for I'm not going to sleep tonight and just kind of go all the way through till tomorrow morning.
That's the way it was. That's the way it was when we went to Pullman a few years ago. They just didn't bother with sleep that night. They took care of it after the game.
That's right, man. Hey, we knew how to do it on the West Coast in the Pac-12, but you're in LA. Be careful. You might stick around in LA. You know, the weather's great and all the vibe on the West Coast, but you're at UCLA for the first time. I mean, this is a big deal. You've been on campus for a little while now. What is the overall vibe from your crew in terms of what you're feeling in Westwood right now?
I think everybody's enjoying the weather first and foremost, especially after our crew and our truck drivers drove all the way across the continent. So they're really happy to be out in just one of the most beautiful places in the country in terms of campus setting. I think there's a genuine excitement about UCLA football and the opportunity that they have this weekend. I mean, you know, they haven't beaten a top 10 team since 2010, haven't done it in the Rose Bowl since 2007. So I think there's a real anticipation that this could be a bit of an opportunity for a landmark or a benchmark victory for them. So people are fired up. We already have people milling around the set. So we're looking forward to a great crowd, and obviously they're excited about a tremendous game on Saturday.
All right, well, you know LA. There's a lot going on, right? Lakers, Clippers, Rams, the Dodgers last night. But UCLA is the center of the sport universe this weekend, tomorrow morning. What would you tell a fan that's maybe thinking about coming to the set early in the morning with their family, with their friends, what the experience might be like for them?
Well, first of all, as a lifelong Braves fan, I wish that the Dodgers weren't playing anymore, and hopefully that will end soon. I hope they'll be done soon, although I sort of doubt it because I've been a lifelong Braves fan. I've seen this movie before. But as far as coming out to our show, I think you're going to see a lot of energy, excitement. Chip's going to come to the set. Mario Cristobal is going to be on FaceTime. I think that if you are a UCLA aficionado and a fan of the Conference of Champions, that you'll be pleased with one of our other guests that's coming as well. I think the celebrity guest picker segment probably will set a record for bleeding into the second quarter of the game that's scheduled to start at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So we're very excited to have, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, but Yogi, because you and I have been friends so long, we're really excited to have Bill Walton come on. Bill's a great friend and a great guy and great entertainer. So we're excited to have him. It'll be fun.
Yes. I wonder who's going to say it first. Thank you for your life, you or him when he's on set with you. His famous line, of course, when he's calling hoops games. With that said,
it is. I just hope I would pay him so much money if he'll do to Herb Street what he does to Pash all the time. If he goes, you know, like maybe picks the wrong name and goes, Kurt, it is Kurt, isn't it? Like that. I hope he does that. Right? Or maybe he'll give Herb Street a massage the way he did Billis in Hawaii a few years ago, although that was really disturbing video.
Yes, well, we know that it'll be unexpected and entertaining.
Yes.
Another thing that's entertaining is the signs.
Yeah.
Coach some people up. I mean, people are building their signs right now. There's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into it. What would you tell them now in terms of, hey, I might pick that one out to get on air when they get to the party, which is in Westwood?
Be edgy, be current, walk right up to the line, but don't cross it. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no need to be vulgar or crude, but you can walk up right to the line of being edgy and sharp-witted. I mean, that's what we like. And then I'll always go for the random reference signs. One of my favorite signs ever, we were in Times Square for the New York show a few years ago, and somebody had blanking on the year, but I want to say it was like 1942. It said, Fordham beat Missouri in the 1942 Sugar Bowl, never forget. That doesn't mean anything. And I found that sign hilarious. You know, so the sort of the random signs or the non sequiturs, all those things tend to get our attention.
That's such good. I love the coaching points. If I was there, I'd be bringing my kids for sure to your guys' set. Right up to the line, right up to the line as you reference. We got to make sure our
Right
friends,
up to the line,
yeah,
toe the line.
totally. You got to make sure the friends on the East Coast know about West Coast
It's,
football. All right. So with that said,
exactly.
you're in LA, right? LA is a big deal, right? It's entertainment, it's Hollywood. What's it like to bring your show to Hollywood?
I hope it's going to be in keeping with the entertainment, the excitement, the glitz, and so forth that you come to expect here. I mean, our show is, and we're grateful for it, is an event. And that's because of not only the people who work on it behind the scenes and on the air, but it's largely an event because the fans like it. And they come up and they are a member of the cast, so to speak. They are part not only of the setting and the backdrop, they're part of the show. And their response to what we say and the signs that they bring, they're the original form of social media, if you will. All of that is part of the DNA and the character of the show. So I think that's something that's sort of in keeping with a big feel. This is not really a place that does subtle very well necessarily, I think, generally speaking. So I think it's really going to be in keeping, and people that come out early and get that early wake up call will enjoy themselves. Because I mean, look, we have music, we have prizes, we have games, things that go on during the breaks of the show too, to keep everybody entertained. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. UCLA's athletic director, Martin Jarman, he's making sure that obviously food's there. If you're a student, if you're a staff, you show up to game day, you got a free ticket to the game. So definitely an event in that regard. But I want to talk about some of the characters that you referenced. I mean, this game kind of sells itself. You got Chip Kelly and the Visor now in UCLA. Mario Cristobal's recruited to LA. Kayvon Thibodeau and Zach Charbonnet were on the same high school team. But what are some of the storylines for this game that you're excited to talk about on the desk?
I think you've hit them, and then there's the big picture element. If the Pac-12 wants to stay in the college football playoff picture, then Oregon is their hope. And Oregon has looked apart exactly one day this season, and it was in Columbus. Everybody has dismissed that win because of the way Oregon has played in its other games. And I think that if they can start looking the part, and if they can win the game and win all the way to the end, then all of a sudden that victory in Columbus comes back into play. Now, it's not the be all end all. It doesn't mean that they absolutely, under all circumstances, must be ranked ahead of Ohio State because they won a game in September, but it can't be dismissed out of hand either. But in order to make it count, obviously first they have to win the rest of their games. But then beyond that, I think they have to start looking the part a little bit. And Yogi, as high as I've been on them, and I know they've had all kinds of injuries, defense has been decimated, lost Verdell. I understand all of that. But if you're going to be in that ultra elite realm, you have to start looking the part. And, goal line stands against Cal, stumbling around for 2.5, 3 quarters against Arizona. That's not it. You have to play better. And so I think that's something, and it needs to start Saturday. And if Thibodeau's getting healthier and they're starting to find themselves a little bit with Dye and maybe finding a little relief for him in the running game, I think this is a really, really good place to show people what Oregon is. If they lose, then people say, it was just an upset in Columbus. It's no big deal. But they can start the second half of the season closing strong and start to make their case and maybe work their way into the playoff.
Yeah, it's been such a funky year, right? I think 47 ranked teams have lost already this season. Everyone outside of Georgia, nobody's really looked the part, I think, every single week. So big opportunity. And a guy who didn't play in Ohio State is Kayvon Thibodeau, future possible #1 draft pick. I wonder what you think if he has another big-time performance like he did in the second half of last week's game. Does he launch himself into a Heisman conversation? Because there isn't anybody, in my eyes at least, that is front-loading the Heisman discussion right now.
I agree with that, but I think in all honesty, I think it's too late. And I think you probably heard me say in the preseason, I thought he was the best player in college football. And because of the injuries, because he's been on the field for less than a third of their defensive snaps up to this point this year, I think it's too late for that. I don't think he's going to have that stage. The stage he needed was in Columbus. The team came through, but he wasn't able to be part of it. So I think it's a little late for that, but he can solidify himself as the #1 overall pick in the draft with a big second half of the season. And certainly the stage afforded him on Saturday will be the jumping off point for that. I do agree with you that the Heisman race is a little muddled. I just think it's probably a little late for Kayvon to get into it this year.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch him and Noah Sewell. I know you'll love seeing them run around in person. Okay, you guys always do a Pac-12 segment. I love that part. It's a part, of course, us on the West Coast key into in College Game Day. And you look at non-conference season, UCLA beat LSU. We've referenced Oregon and Ohio State. We got an interesting one, non-con, SC goes to South Bend. Curious what you think about that matchup. And then the one I'm at. I can't wait to call Utah and Oregon State, two leaders in their respective divisions right now.
I'm looking forward to that one too. You and I talked a little bit about that one before we started, but SC Notre Dame is really interesting because Notre Dame is not what it's been the last few years, but to their everlasting credit, they keep finding ways to win. Brian Kelly and Tommy Rees have made the quarterback moves at the right times. They haven't beaten SC 4 in a row since Lou Holtz finished out the run, which, by the way, the first 3 of those wins, an 11-game run, were by Jerry Faust. So it's been a while since Notre Dame has controlled the series as an opportunity to do now. So, I really want to see Drake London, and I know he's not going to be one-on-one because Kyle Hamilton's a safety, but I hope that there are a few instances Saturday where those two wind up going at it because those are two of the best players in the game. So I favor Notre Dame a little bit because even though I think SC is as talented, if not more so, I just sort of trust Notre Dame at home a little bit more about it, but it won't shock me at all if SC wins the game.
All right, and what's the one thing you're looking forward to with Cam Rising coming into this Rece Stadium? Possible rain tomorrow afternoon.
Well, Cam Rising has elevated Utah's offense, and they were just tremendous after falling behind last weekend and going away against Arizona State. But what I'm looking for, Yogi, because I know that, I love the offense, but you've got two of the best linebackers that not enough people talk about in that game. You're going to have some folks get hit in that game with Devin Lloyd and Avery Roberts. I think those two guys are really elite players. And I really, really like what Jonathan Smith is doing at Oregon State. Utah's a great story. They've had a lot of emotion surrounding their program, and understandably so. But I really like Beav's chances to get this win and to create bigger games down the road for them. I think they're in a good spot. So I'll lean Oregon State a little bit, but that's the one thing I'm really looking forward to in that game is those linebackers really getting after it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun Saturday in Pac-12 football, but it begins at 4:30 a.m. We've seen the hashtag Pac-12 After Dark. This is Pac-12 before dawn. How early are you going to wake up for this one, man?
I'll probably get in the car 3:30, something like that, and try to be here around 4. So somewhere in that neighborhood, 4:30.
So you'll go to bed tonight. You won't be out with that young man that you met outside.
No.
Okay.
I'm an old, you know how old I am. I'm an old man. I gotta get some sleep. at least 4 hours. I got at least 4 hours tonight. David Pollock just jumped on the side.
We're going to the bars.
David Pollock just said we're going to the bars. This coming from a man who's never had a sip of an alcoholic beverage. He's going, oh, we're going to the bars.
Let's get weird.
Pollock is not going to the bars. You know where Pollock is going? He's going to the squat rack. He'll probably go do some squats or something, but he's not going to the bars.
I love it. Tell him to keep watching film on Pac-12 football. We love that when you guys break it down. The Wilson Plaza, we love your respect for the league and how you guys talk about it on your show when you bring us up. So much love in that regard. And of course, thank you for your life, Rece Davis. Enjoy 4:30 a.m. and College Game Day, man.
Remember, you don't memorize Grateful Dead lyrics. You live them, Yogi. You live them.
I love it. You got it at 4:30. I'm going to go live some sweet Pac-12 Smash Mouth football up here in the Northwest. Oregon State, Utah, 4:30 on the Pac-12 networks. You get it wherever you want to find and follow college football. Rece Davis, of course, you know where he'll be at 6 a.m. to kick it up, but get there for the party, 4:30 a.m. Bring your signs, get up to the edge. If you want to get crazy in Hollywood, feel free to step slightly over a little bit with the fellas. Rece, thanks for coming on, man.